Okay, YouTube, we're way overdue for a video. I realize it's been over a month since I made one. And what this video is mostly going to be about is the 68 Torino. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take the rear shocks off of it. It has the type of shocks that have the coil spring on it. I'm going to get my finger out of the way, see if you can see them. And if you can see that right there, I'm going to get rid of those. I'm pretty sure those shocks are a really tight fit. That spring actually helps boost a leaf spring. That's probably their purpose. And it gives a real stiff ride, and I guess helps them not lean so much on corners. But I put those on because they used to be on a 71 Cougar I used to have, which I had sold. And I had 50/50 drag shocks on the back of this. I don't know, it just seemed like a good idea at the time, but I'm taking them off, and I'm going to tell you why. The car sets up pretty high. If you notice my videos, it's always said high in the rear, too high. And now that I put these 28-inch tall Mickey Thompsons on it, it makes it look even more way too high, because my fronts are so much shorter, which I still need to swap out, but I haven't gotten to do it yet. But my fronts are so much shorter, and it just sits up too high, too much of an angle. Some people like that look. I'm wanting more of a level look. So I'm going to take them off and find out just how much it is making the car raise up. I don't know if I have yes, I do have a tape measure right here. I don't have the tripod handy right now. I'm going to try to measure while holding the camera. Okay. And I'm going to measure. The easiest way to measure would be on the radius of this bumper, maybe. Yeah. Okay, it looks like we are to the center of the radius on that bumper, about 24 1/4. So I'm going to take the shocks off. I'm going to pull it outside, take the shocks off, pull it back in, and see how much it lowers it. And another issue, those tires fit pretty nice in there, but I want to make sure nothing rubs after it hopefully lowers down a little bit. I want the car to set level. That's what I'm wanting. And while I'm at it, the video isn't about the Powerstroke, but one guy asked me for an update, and reasonably so, because I kind of left everybody hanging on this truck. And I have been working on it, not as much as I want to, but I have been working on it. As you can see, all the major dents that I can find with my hand and feel on the sides are done. The front are finished. That wheel tub is finished. A few dents there. I don't think there's very many dents, if any at all. I haven't really looked for them on that part of the panel there. But what has really been time consuming and tedious and kind of frustrating is getting all this right. As you can see, it's taking a lot to make it look right. There's a lot of low spots. Some of it because of the panel I welded in, but plus this bed did have some dents in it. It was an old junkyard bed. Honestly, I'm wishing that I would have paid the money for a new bottom bed panel and drilled all the spot welds out and put it in. That'd have been really the right way to do it. But I've already put this much time in it and gone this far, so I'm going to finish what I started with this. And actually what I could have done was the old rusty black bed that you see in my past videos. I could have used that, because that part of it was perfect. The actual bed panel itself, or bottom panel, was not rusty. So I could have done that, but like I said, a lot of times you think of your best ideas when it's too late. So I'm going to go ahead and finish what I started on this. I may do one short video on this truck before next weekend. Next weekend I'm flying out to New York for my yearly trip out there. Should stay home and work on this, but hey, it's not like I haven't been laying around doing nothing. I've been taking care of a lot of other things, and that was another reason I haven't worked on this truck a lot. But you got to get away and relax every now and then. A little bit of change of lifestyle, so to speak. So anyway, getting off subject, but this is for the guy who was asking about a Powerstroke update. It's where I'm at on it. Anyway, I'm going to do a cold start on the Torino. It hasn't been started about a week. And then I'll shut it back off. Matter of fact, I might pull it out and show you how the car sits outside so you can get a good idea of how much difference it hopefully makes when I remove the shocks. Let me switch hands here. Try to give you a good view of the, I guess, the tack. Turn on my electric fuel pump, MSD ignition, pump it 2 or 3 times. Which, it isn't a cold day or anything, it's about 72 degrees today or something, but the old carburetor is a little, it needs a rebuild. If you remember the resurrection videos I made, hey, this car sat for 2 years, but before that, this carburetor hasn't been apart since, oh man, I don't know, late 90s, something like that. So, can't really complain, I guess, but pull this thing out. Actually, it sounds more cammed up than it really is. This cam is not that big for a 429 for a big block. One thing, it's cold. They always elope when they're cold. And another thing is I do have some leaks in my mufflers. So, luckily, at least it don't sound too crappy. It actually sounds pretty decent. So, but I'll give you an idea of how it's sitting here. And hopefully, when I take those shocks off, now I'm not going to leave the shocks off. Don't be thinking I'm going to drive around with no shocks. Here's about where my tire is. I'm hoping that this thing sits down a little more and it doesn't rub. But don't be thinking I'm going to drive without shocks. Once I take them off, and if I like what I see on the way home from work tomorrow, I will pick up some new shocks, if I can get some. Surely they got shocks for these things in stock. If not, I'll have to order them, which means I will probably throw on my old 50/50 drag shocks back on it so I can drive it to a cruise in Friday night. Alright, let's pull some shocks off and see how it looks. Alright, got all the bolts out, but this one, I can't find my mount to my tripod, so I'm not going to be filming as much as I wanted to on this. I was hoping to film the what it takes to get the top bolts out. You got to go in this little bitty, the car's got a huge trunk, but it's got a little bitty trunk lid. I'll show you in a minute, but it's probably would have been comical to watch me crawl in and out of it. Luckily, the shock didn't spin on me. Now, the top bolts, the shock did, and I had to take my vice grips. And actually, imagine this is the top, and I gripped it right there. You just clamp it on, and that usually keeps it from spinning on you. And it will hopefully, if the shock does move, it'll spin around and hit something like that. Say, like if you're up in the trunk or something. But this is such a tight fit. I'm going to show you what I gotta go through to get these shocks off. Let me pause the camera and find another way to set it up to where you can see what I'm going to do here. Okay, I just want to show you what it takes to get these shocks off of this thing. It's so tight in there, which is why I believe it's making the car sit as high as it is. And I'm thinking if I put a regular shock on it, it'll drop back down. But if you see where my jack is, it's on my frame tie. And what I mean by frame tie, it's not the original frame of the car. It's a subframe connector that I had made a long time ago. It's just a piece of 2x2, and it connects the front subframe to the rear subframe and stiffens up the chassis. It keeps the car from twisting, and you can tell by riding in it. This chassis is a lot stiffer from it. Now, I did that a long time ago, and I would have done it different had I done it now. But it's already in there and it works. And I may someday take the carpet out of this car and weld it up solid like it should be. But what I'm doing right now is jacking the frame of the car up away from the axle. As you can see, my leaf springs or my tires are staying on the ground, and you'll see how far I got to jack this thing up to get those shocks off of this thing. And well, right now my wheels are off the ground, and these shocks are still see how stiff they are? Yeah, that's definitely going to help the car get lower. But what I need to do is I need to figure out how to get these off. If I remember right, I had taken a bottle jack and actually stretched my spring down. I put a bottle jack on top of the housing right here. I'm going to have to find me a bottle jack and push the spring away from the car some more. Right now it's just stretched as far as it'll go with the weight of the rear end pulling on it. But that's not enough. It shows you how tight those shocks are. Let me pause the camera and find a bottle jack. Okay, I couldn't find my hydraulic bottle jack. I'm sure it's around here somewhere. I just could not find it. But what I do have is an old truck jack. And as you can see, what I'm going to do is, okay, the top of that jack, you probably can't see it. I know you can't see it. Is touching the rear subframe where it curls up around, makes that radius around the wheel well or whatever. And now I'm going to try to just this is the heavy-duty truck jack that came with my F-250. It will pretty much pick a car up with no effort. You don't even need a lot of leverage on this little dial here that I got the screwdriver stuck in. There we go. Now, that's what it takes to get these shocks out of here. Don't know how good this is for my leaf springs, but it's what it takes. I don't think it'll hurt anything. If anything, it'll re-arch them. And I'm not going to be prying that spring up any. I'm going to have to pretty much jack it up. I'm beginning to wonder if I turn the camera on. I better look. Yeah, it's recording. Okay. I don't know how many of you people that make your own videos do that, but it's very easy to start making a video and forget to turn your camera on. And it kind of makes you mad because you waste a lot of time setting up your camera and you didn't get to film anything. So close. Spring's really arching here. Guess that's what I did when I put these on. I really wish I hadn't put them on now. I'm sure somebody will give me a safety lecture after watching this video, but it's the only way. I don't think this jack's going anywhere. You know, when it exposes my head, if it hits my head, it won't hurt me. Alright. And think, I get to do this again. I really am missing my hydraulic jack. I am definitely sure that this car will set at a better height once I get these goofy shocks off. I'm tempted to turn the camera on. This is going to make the video pretty long. But, oh, I'd like to at least show me getting the shock off. At least one of them. Just to show you how far I had to go. I'm getting a little worried with all this tension on that jack. Just hope it don't pop out. It doesn't look like it will. I'm going to try to come up with a better setup for the next one for sure. If I can get the screwdriver under this. I just hope I don't go through all this and find out that my big tires rub after the car sets at a better height. Oh, that is so close. A little more. It's getting tight enough to where I can't hardly turn it. If I can get that screwdriver under that, it is almost there. So close. Oh boy, crank it up a little more. It's not going to be happy until I break something. Alright. Oh, that is so close. It's almost flush with the bottom. Like I said, if I get something under that. Come on. There we go. I think. Ah, had it. Now let it go. And there it is. Haha! That was not easy, but I'm happy that it's out. Now I get to do the other side, but I'm not going to show you that. Okay, left side pretty much the same as the right side, except if you can see the bottom of my jack stand there. Yes, I do have a jack stand under there. I didn't on the other side, and you can flame me if you want because I've been working on cars too long to not know better, and it is a stupid thing to do to work under a car with no jack stands. And I also flip this around. Also got a little more leverage on my screwdriver now, and I've almost got it. Even though we are quite a bit safer than last time, I still don't like being underneath all this pressure of the spring. You really got to stretch it to get this thing off here. This ratchet on the end of the screwdriver really worked. It was 1.25 inch socket. Let's see if we can get the shock off. Very close. A little more. And hopefully get out of here. In case something breaks and hits me. Okay. See if I can pry it the rest of the way like I did on the other. Very close. Just a little more. Okay, we'll crank on a little more. I really hate stretching that spring out like that, but there is, outside of cutting the shock, which I don't want to do, which I'd rather ruin that shock than my leaf spring or something else. I don't think it's going to. These leaf springs are not ancient. I replaced them a long time ago, so it's not like they're not original 1968 ones. So they're pretty strong. I don't think you're going to wear them this way anyhow. I would probably bend the frame or something before I did that. And I have a block of wood between the jack and the frame, in case you're wondering about that too. And there it is. Alright, now we're going to set this thing on the ground and see how much difference we made. Okay, we got it back down on the ground and it has lowered some. It's about 3/4 inch that we dropped it. So, yeah, we got 23.5 and I believe it was 24.25. Like I said, I'm going to about just eyeball in the center of that radius of that bumper there. So, yeah, that should make a significant difference. We don't want it too low. I'm not into the lowrider, big 20-inch wheels, little skateboard slack car looking tires. I don't like that look. Especially when they do it to a classic car. It drives me nuts. To each their own, but man, don't ruin history, you know. Anyway, I gotta find my keys, and what I'm going to do is, they're in my pocket. I'm going to start it up, pull it out, and we'll look at it from the same view that we looked at it before. And I like that a lot better. Right now the car is pointing uphill a little bit, so it probably still has a slight brake, you know, kind of with the front end lower than the rear. But I don't mind a little bit of that. I'm still shooting for the level. I think once I get my tires up front, they're a little taller. Hopefully they won't rub. I don't think they will. See, I've got some bias ply for the front. Remember I told you about the radial on front, bias ply in the rear. But I'll tell you what, I like the way that looks a lot better. It was ridiculously high in the rear. It could stand to come down a little more, but we'll wait before we make any more modifications. From what I could see, there's no rubbing. I already crawled under it. There was no reason for it to rub. Everything was spaced out just right anyway. It's just a little lower now, and I can easily get my fingers in here. The other side's a little tighter. Like on most cars, it's a little tighter on one side than the other. That shouldn't cause any issues. Right now we have no shocks on, and I'm not going to drive it like that, but yeah, hopefully we can pick up just some stock shocks. Once I do some things to the engine and put a lower gear and a better stall converter in it later, I will probably eventually put a drag shock back on it. Not those things. Those aren't drag shocks. They're way too stiff for drag race, but I got some 50/50 rear drags for it. But that'll be later. Okay, I think I made this video longer than I wanted to, so there'll be a part 2. We'll get our new shocks hopefully tomorrow after work and put it back together and clean this thing up and maybe go for a short ride, see how it rides.